had or
What's to say, my love? I'm trying to be young here, my love.
slapped me so hard I hit the door frame and I passed out into a coma.
You're listening to What We Tell the Kids, a family podcast.
Hey guys, and welcome to our first ever episode of What We Tell the Kids, and probably what we shouldn't have. My name is Avikar Singh. Just a little backstory behind me. I have the Global Coaching Academy, that's life coaching courses and certifications coming up. I have a ton of other things, but we put all of that aside to make my wife's dream come true of having our very own couples podcast. Without any further ado, I'm going to hand you over to my beautiful wife, Roxan Singh. And the crowd goes wild. A round of applause, everyone.
Yay.
Yay.
Thank you for that warm introduction, my love. My name is Roxan Singh, as my husband so warmly pointed out, but I go by the name of Roxy.
She hates that name, by the way.
I do. A long backstory behind that, but I'll tell you more about it in maybe another episode. I am the referee to two teenagers. I am a snack fetching mom to a toddler. I am a mom to these three and a wife to my amazing husband.
Amazing husband. Look at how you're making me blush. If anybody's wondering, yes, we're hosting this podcast from our bedroom. The reason is we have kids. I'm sure you figured that out by now. So there's no late night studio drives. There's no going on to big production sets, not for this debut episode. So we're doing things completely out of the box. And instead, we just have a room full of people staring at us in our bedroom. So that doesn't feel really nice.
No, I think that the whole warmth of the bedroom is personal. So I think we want this to be personal, and I don't think it's going to get any more personal than this.
People invading our space. So we had a theme in mind for this episode, and this debut episode's theme was parenting in 2025. Definitely not the easiest thing in this digital age as compared to our parents who probably parented us in the 70s, 80s, 90s. And the modern child might have had and the modern child has and
Listen properly.
The modern child might have a smartphone, but the parent still has the slipper. Is that what you're supposed to say, my love?
That is what you call fumbling on screen right before your eyes, because I am exhausted, completely exhausted. Don't worry, the 2AC is standing up over here ready to slate again. She can just seat herself down.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So yes, you're absolutely correct, my love. The modern child might have had a smartphone, but the parent still has the slipper.
Indeed.
Do you remember being hit by a slipper?
Of course. I actually remember being hit by anything my mom could find. And I am of the opinion that I turned out just fine. So I'm assuming, my love.
Sometimes, you have those days.
Let's get back to the slipper. So I have several memories about the slipper story that my husband wants me to tell, but I have one memory that I'm going to share. And this in particular is probably when I was around 8 or 9 years old and got my hands on a U magazine. I was happy to start this new trend, which then in the 90s was called a fringe. We now call it a bang or bangs.
That's something our 19-year-old is into, these bangs and stuff.
Yeah, so, and mind you, bangs back then didn't touch your eyes. Bangs back then was halfway the length of your forehead, and it wasn't very pretty, but it looked boss compared to what we see now, and we thought it was the most amazing thing ever. So I was on a mission.
Looks boss.
Yes, I'm trying to be young here, my love.
That's the most Indian thing we've heard.
A boss.
A boss.
Yes, of course, it's boss. I would say other things, but I don't really use vulgar language, so let's not. But anyway, I'm getting back to this. My husband's sidetracking me. So I was in the bathroom ready to go and get this bangs cut. And so I got my scissor, I got my book for reference. Well, we had, the book actually was a magazine rather, not a book. And You Magazine, let me tell you, was the best thing since sliced bread in the 90s. It had everything from fashion to gossip to horoscopes and it was the best thing ever. So, yeah, so I had this magazine open. I had the instructions laid out and I was ready to go. And I had the scissor and I was just like, trying to muster up the courage to do it. And I promise you, door opens, mom walks in, doesn't even look at me long enough to know what I'm about to do, but she knows. That slipper was in her hand like some sort of Navy SEAL, came straight at me, hit me on the side of the head. If I wasn't brought up in the 90s and eating all the things that the 90s people ate and the Indian moms fed them, I probably would have been knocked out cold. So let me tell you, that was a slipper from hell.
Just for context for our viewers out there, and that's an incredible story, just one of many that kids can share about their parents suffering with any form of punishment for all the wrong things that we did growing up. So just for context, and I'm sure this applies to many cultures, but in the Indian culture, from what we know in terms of our experience, your parent would hit you with anything that they found.
Anything.
And it literally could mean absolutely anything. A quick story that I would share regarding the same question. When I was in the 8th grade, I was a little bit of a rebellious child, and it was 38 degrees. I came back home with a love bite. I tried to cover it up by wearing a scarf, and it was a Tuesday afternoon, and we went to temple. And Dad was dumbfounded as to why I wore a scarf when it was blistering hot on that day. So, yeah, sharing a few secrets. And, yes, long story short, pulled the scarf off me after service and just slapped me so hard that it felt as if though I hit the door frame and I passed out into a coma. And that's what we tell the kids.
And let me just tell you, grade 8 has, as my husband so lovingly has mentioned, was standard 5, isn't it? For the oldies.
Yes.
Yeah. For our era, it's standard 5. And at standard 5, I was running barefoot, punching boys, climbing trees, and I had no idea that the opposite sex could make babies. We weren't even told that. So I'm not sure what you were doing running around with love bites, my love. And it was called hickeys, by the way.
You are 13, 14 years old when you in the 8th grade.
Yes.
So if you do not know how babies were made by that time, then we definitely lived in two different generations.
Of course, yes. That's the thing, my love. We were never told about the birds and the bees from our parents. We learned about it in school in passing, listening to other conversations. And we never had those conversations, and we never had the freedom of speaking about sex when we were in primary school. Those conversations came out in high school, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not sure if our listeners that are around our age...
But the 8th grade is the first grade in high school. It's grade 8.
No, standard 5 is primary school, my love.
No, the standards and the grades are completely wrong. That's where we've got this whole thing mixed up in a bunch, because we've got 3 kids. One has just finished metric last year. The other is in grade 8, and we have a toddler who's 19 months old. So we definitely don't have our standards and grades right.
Yes.
So you are
6.
Absolutely confused, as am I.
I am. I take correction.
You are absolutely confused, as am I, and I'm sorry for agreeing to it. Yes. Grade 8. So you agree that you had some fair knowledge about the birds and the bees at grade 8?
No, and I'm gonna put this out there for our listeners, right? They were born in the 80s. I'm not giving away my age, but the kids that were born in the 80s that so early 80s to late 80s. When did you find out about how babies were made? And let's be honest, right? My generation, I don't know if I was just being coy, or if I was just not one of those kids that really were interested in that sort of conversation. But when did you find out? I think that's an interesting question.
Post it in the comments. Let's see it. Wherever you're listening to this, whether it's on Facebook, whether you're on TikTok right now watching this, whether it's on Instagram and we on YouTube, if you're listening to it in the Apple Play, Apple Place, the place where Apple is, where you have the Apple podcast, and if you're listening to this on Spotify, just find us on social media, find this clip.
We're everywhere.
And let us know. Let us know.
Yes. I'm interested to find out.
So moving on, fun facts about our 19-month-old. We're going to start with the youngest in the house.
My love, he's 20 months old.
What is the difference, and why are we still counting in months? He's already passed his 1-year birthday. So what's the whole deal with months?
Okay, let me school you, my baby. So moms
School me.
Yes, but I see I'm full of lingo today. So
and the room, the if I could just turn this camera around to show you everybody in the room when she said, "I'm going to school you," it terrified not just me but everybody else around.
So if anybody knows my husband, they would know that he's the one that is not camera shy. So now for me to have to school him, this is an honor. I'm going to take this for everything it's worth. Moms, by their right, from the day that they find out that they're having a baby, we count our pregnancy in months. We then proceed to count our babies when they're born in months. So we have a 1-month-old, we have a 2-month-old, blah, blah, blah. We have a 10-month-old, we have an 11-month-old. Oh, guess what? He or she's turning 1. We still say 12-month-old. And then I think what even makes it even better is vaccines. Vaccines agree with the females and agree with the moms, because now vaccine books and moms will bear me out on this one. Vaccines name the month. So they'll say your baby's due for a 3-month or a 6-month or actually they start with weeks. 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and on goes on and on up until 5 years old. And they only start counting years after 2. That's why they say terrible 2, because that's when nobody gives a damn anymore.
Well, he's definitely in his terrible 2s. That much I can tell you. Breaking out of everything. We bought a playpen, which lasted him just a few months, and he's already climbed his way out of it. Tall, in fact, and I think it's a perfect segment talking about his height to say that we dedicate this podcast episode to my late and your late parents, who are my in-laws, Mr. Michael and Damra Mari Muthu, and it's just that thought. It's just that thought about our son's height. He definitely doesn't get it from me. He doesn't get it from our dad on my side, or anyone in my family for that matter. So that's definitely a Marimutu gene that he has.
Yes, he was. He does. He has been blessed with long legs, and I'm so happy for that, because he's going to make some woman extremely happy one day when she gets to wear those Prada or Jimmy Choo heels and stand next to this man that's tall, fair and handsome.
Nice.
We can only hope. We can only wish.
My son's a stunner, Mr. Singh.
Of course he's a stunner. Of course he's a stunner. I wanted to say like you, but he should be taking after his father.
No, he
right?
does. He does.
Should be taking after his father. Sitting in his pajamas in his bedroom with a camera pointed at him. That's going to be something we have to explain at some point in our lives. So our 20-month-old, I was about to say 19-month-old again.
20-month-old.
He's going through a vocabulary explosion. He's like a mini copy machine. He's throwing tantrums. He's climbing. He's taste testing world championships.
Everything.
Which means that anything he picks up, he's just putting it into his mouth. He's just on a different level. And I want to play a little game with you. Let's play a game which no dad, I think, wants to play because we generally tend to know very little about our kid. But this game would be Who Knows Our 20-Month-Old Best, with the ultimate prize being bragging rights for knowing our 20-month-old
No, I
best.
think you're going to lose this one, my love. I don't even know why you try, but let's do this, okay? Let's give you the benefit of the doubt. Come, let's do this. Question 1. What is our toddler's favorite snack at the moment? Is it A, strawberries, B, the dog's food, C, bananas, or D, whatever you're eating?
It's none of the above. None of the above, and I tell you why. Number one, we don't have a dog. Two, there's no strawberries in our fridge. But just to give you a little bit of context, this past weekend, we were at your cousin's place and we were having breakfast there. And our little one decided to wander off. And it's always in those moments, always those split 5-second moments where you take your eyes off them. And his hands were deep into hamster food, and he was picking at the little hamster, whatever that is, and eating it, and quite enjoying it, as a matter of fact. Our little guy will refuse to eat the best kind of chicken, the best kind of meals prepared in our home,
Correct.
But hamster food, really? Really?
Yes, he loves it.
It's nothing dangerous. It's common with all children to pick up things that are strange to eat and taste. So my answer to that question is, and I'm sure you will 100% agree with me, he's at that stage where he will eat anything that he seems or finds interesting, rather.
Yes, I completely agree. So you win that one, my love. You've got that one in the bag.
What does our child do the moment we sit down to relax? Number 1, screams. 2, climbs the couch. I was about to say 3 and C at the same time. 3, throws something. Or D, all of the above.
My husband, and he's mixing up the letters and numbers.
We can't even read properly at this time of night.
No, yeah, that's true. We'll blame it on this lag.
Fatigue,
yeah. Midnight lag. I would say all of the above. And I'll tell you why. My son has the amazing ability to know when we're about to relax, when we're busy, and when we're in fact going to just want to sit down and eat or chat. Because that's the moment that he wants us. So I'm going to say all of the above because my son sees nothing except what he wants at this point.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right, my question. Which body part does our toddler randomly touch the most? Your face, his own belly, my face, or grandma's knee?
Again, another question where the answer is none of the above. Absolutely none of the above.
It's a trick question.
It's not even a trick question. It's just an inaccurate question because our toddler is at that age of exploration and he wants to discover everything that's holy. So you put that into context, everything that's holy.
You are very, very much correct, but there's also a deeper explanation. So besides the exploratory phase that he's going through, it's also very important for kids, especially babies and toddlers, to find themselves. So it's not necessarily exploration. It is a need to want to know what's going on because in the womb, they have these fingers. Well, they're born and then they have the eyes. Remember, the eyes and the mouth and the nose, those kinds of facial features form first. And then come the intricate parts of the fingers and the toes. So in that case, most times they suddenly see fingers and they see toes and then they see thighs and they see this umbilical cord that's hanging around them. So they learn to be explorative in the womb long before they're actually out of the tummy. And when they find these things out there, it's not just body parts, it's anything that they find that's interesting to them, that they'll put in their mouth first, or they'll put it in their nose, or they'll stick it in their ears. And some can even go and stick it in their nappy, believe me. So I think it's just extremely healthy for a kid to want to be explorative. If your kid is doing that, you're on the right track. Nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about
No, not at all.
whatsoever. whatsoever. It's normal at this age.
Absolutely normal.
Unless it's obsessive or it's hurting your child.
Correct.
In which situation you should visit your pediatrician, you should go to a doctor, you should consult, because we don't have all the answers as parents. Some things we may regard as being normal because Google, our parents, etc., tell us that it is. However, if it does show signs of hurt to your little one, please seek medical advice immediately.
Yeah, and if it doesn't, then just know at that age, between the 1-year-old and the 5-year-old, if they're at that age, just remember they are tiny little scientists on an amazing little sensory adventure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love the way you put that. Tiny little scientists on an amazing adventure. Speaking about science, something completely off topic.
Yeah.
Everybody has their famous pills.
Yes.
Famous pills. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm looking at you directly into the camera there, tonight, we are both on a particular kind of high, and we suddenly, before bed, we aren't drinking. There's no alcohol in this family, so there's no nightcap involved, but maybe a little bit of alcohol tonight.
No, I didn't take out the big guns tonight. I needed to be a little bit aware.
What is the big guns? Because I've got the over the counter stuff. So what's the big guns that parents are? What do you have that I don't have?
Believe me, alcohol is underestimated, my friend. It is extremely not recommended. We do not recommend people take this. Not at all.
You don't recommend it. I don't recommend it either. I'm not promoting any form of
No, we do not promote
abuse.
that.
But some parents really need to check their livers because it's kind of difficult.
Some parents.
So, you're pointing at me.
Some parents.
Pointing at me.
Yes. So I am actually, I went to gym, so I'm a bit sore. So I had to take an anti-flam, which does the job for me. So
is that the excuse that parents are using now? Go to the gym so that we can take an anti-inflammatory to heal the pain, which also helps you sleep because it most likely has codeine or some other form of sleeping pill in there, whatever it is. So is that your excuse? Is that the excuse we should be teaching people?
Yeah,
get a gym subscription so
Yes.
that you can take pills to fall asleep.
No. So I work long hours, and when you come home, not long hours, I work a normal 8 to 5, but obviously I'm up earlier because of baby. So I wake up earlier, an hour, 2 hours earlier, and trying to get his stuff done on time. And then I have to get myself ready and then make sure that everything's in order because we've got a kid that also homeschooled rather. So there's lots of things for moms to do before they leave. And I have a long day because after work, I go straight to gym, and then, it's just it's a roller coaster of things that I have to put together, and then come home, dinner, feed baby, bath baby, bedtime routines, and then fitting in a podcast. So I need help every now and then.
It almost seems like fathers do nothing.
Yes, of course, you guys do nothing.
Fathers
man.
do nothing.
I lie. You are the most amazing helper, my love. I think that women by their own right, and moms in this day and age, we just like having things under our control, more especially because we know what we want and we know how we want it done. And it's no disrespect to the guys out there and to the dads and to the amazing husbands, but I think in my case, I just like having to know what I'm supposed to do, how to do it. And I have this little diary in my head that I keep a schedule and I work by it.
I love that. And dads, you may feel like you're insignificant in the house. Maybe you don't, because quite frankly speaking, when somebody else is taking over all of these responsibilities, it can sometimes feel like a relief, where you get a lot more time to yourself. And perhaps you keep yourself deliberately busy so that you don't have to take on all of these parenting responsibilities. But whatever the circumstances are, I think the entire thing where we were speaking about pills and all of that stuff. It's most especially to say that if you're a parent in 2025 and you feel like you're failing, don't stress.
Yeah, I think so too. I think these are all coping mechanisms that we all need as an integral part of our function.
What?
Day-to-day function. There's nothing wrong with that. If it's going to help you and if it's helping you and it's making you a better mom, a better dad, or
You are literally just
run with
you're trying to encourage people here to take pills because that's the only thing that people are thinking about. No, we are not promoting pills. What we are trying to say is run with the good emotions that you are doing everything that you can
correct. Yes.
to be the best parent you can be. That's what we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Do not become opioid addicts.
No,
My wife
no, of
was
course
not
not.
clear about that, and
No,
we're going to get
indeed.
banned as a podcast because she chose to run with the
That's
wrong
it.
idea.
That is not what I'm saying at all. But I am saying that as parents, don't feel the need to have to do everything by yourself. If you need to ask for help, ask for help. And if you need to do things by yourself and you don't need the help, then be brave enough to say, I've got this. I'm fine. And especially when it comes to family, extended family, friends, everybody has their own opinion on how you should raise your kids and how you should live your life. You are the captain of your ship. And you're the only one,
Captain of the
the captain of your own ship.
The captain. Aye, captain.
Yes, and nobody can tell you how to do you better than you.
Absolutely. We have the last segment of our first debut podcast because it is quite late and we do want to go to sleep and we do want to get rid of everybody that's around us so that we can have our room back to ourselves. This segment is called our family recommendation on series or movies. Now that's a terrible name. And we're going to find something more creative. We're learning as we go along, right? We're learning as we go along. And a good recommendation, especially if you're from a Christian home. Now, remembering well that my wife is Christian, my two girls are Christian, and I am Hindu. So, coming from a Hindu, watching this, because we love all religions, The House of David.
Yeah, so this is our pick for the week. Well, actually not the week, let's just say the month. Because it takes that long to watch. I think if you have kids like us, it took us about a month.
The House of David, it took us a week.
Really?
We binge watched it every single night.
Yes, okay, don't binge watch it. So we try to make it into a little exercise. Because my kids, the girls, they obviously need explanations whenever there's certain scenes and there's certain things that come across that they find questionable. So as a PK, if you know, we sort of like to explain things like the way we were explained to when we were young. So the movie is The House of David. It premieres on it shows on Prime Video. And it is an epic and emotional retelling of the story of David from shepherd to king. And it follows him in 1000 BC, where he took over from the King Saul. So I think it's all of the events that followed from him shepherd right up until he became king, including the most exciting part, which was Goliath. I was so taken aback by that scene. But yes, and then it also talks and it speaks into your personal life with struggles and with pride and with how to deal with people that tell you that you shouldn't be what you should and how to deal with these everyday situations. So it was an extremely good watch for my kids. It was an extremely good watch for me, and it was also a little bit of an educational moment for my loving husband because he also is learning as we go along. So it's amazing.
I think in terms of what would encourage the listeners and what would encourage our viewers, House of David was not just spiritually deep, it's cinematically beautiful. And this resonates with my bad. This resonates with one concept that I have in my mind. When I was growing up as a kid, we always used to tune in to SABC2 and we would watch the Ramayana that would play on TV and all of these culturally beautiful movies that form part of your individual religion. Gone are the days gone are the days in most households where we actually promote watching things like this as a family. Things like Stranger Things and all of these other great Netflix television shows that have come out. It's amazing TV, and hats off to all the great content that we get to watch. But is it really something that is educational for our kids? Is it really something that teaches you good values? Things that holy books like the Bible, that the Gita and so on, used to teach us when we were growing up, because we used to study these things. So I think it's our responsibility as parents.
Of course.
It's our responsibility as parents to be the responsible ones, to start encouraging our kids to watch more of the style of content, this religious enactations or whatever it is. Is enactations a word?
Yeah,
Enactments.
Enactments. But I agree, because I don't only think that it has a spiritual pull, yes, to those that understand the word of God. However, for the man that doesn't understand, teaches you valuable lessons. And that's what I like about these new age series. Extremely knowledgeable. So Dad, sorry, I was looking at you, my love. But Dad, let's move from that and let's go to Book of the Week.
Book of the Week. Book of the Week for me is a book called Day Trading Attention by Gary Vee. And I'm going to tell you why. So I'm in the content and marketing space. I'm a creative strategist by day.
The most brilliant in the world.
So thank you, my love. So if everybody, or for whoever doesn't know me, I started off with my journey as trying to become a failed lawyer, and I did end up studying that. And then I went on to find my passion in copywriting and digital marketing. And that was something that I absolutely loved. Gary Vee has been an inspiration, and I most likely am not putting his principles.
Inspiration, my love.
You are my inspiration. You are the love of my life. I hold you in high esteem, but it's not going to get us viewers. So I need to implement some of the principles that I've learned through day trading attention. And it's a textbook.
I'll give Gary Vee this one.
Yes, it's a textbook. It's a textbook from cover to cover to tell you everything you need to humanly know to survive in this new digital age. And it's a 10 out of 10 what we tell the kids recommendation. And my eldest daughter is actually studying her diploma in copywriting and digital marketing. And it's a book that I want her to read as well. For the new modern day digital marketer, it's a must have and a must read. We probably will give away a free copy, probably a Prime subscription, so that you could watch The House of David as well. Sometimes. Why not? Maybe a 1 month free Prime subscription for you to watch The House of David and everything else that's great on there. And I would like to gift away the book Day Trading Attention to one of you who really wants to make it in this digital era in social media and marketing.
Yeah, that's
Why not?
Brilliant. I think that's an amazing idea, my love.
Let's do that for our debut of What We Tell the Kids, our first giveaway. But we'll announce it. We will announce it, and we will put all the rules and all of that stuff. We're going to make it super simple, because I suppose we only got like 12 followers. So one of you lucky 12 are going to win anyway. So congratulations in advance for that.
So what do we tell the kids, my love?
What do we tell the kids? Painkillers are bad.
Okay, I'd like to say something. To my toddler, your life is a good one. One day you'll realize that nappies were the best part.
To our teen, you don't have to go viral. You just have to go to school and dream the dream. Also do the dishes and your chores.
And keep your room clean.
Keep your rooms clean.
That was a good one.
Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us on our first ever episode of What We Tell the Kids. It's been a blessing to be here with you, and we may not be as hilarious, goofy, and funny as we want to be. We've been shooting for over 2 hours with all the takes that we had to do in between. So it's time for us to get to bed, and we love you. We thank you. We appreciate you. A round of applause, everyone here. Yay!
Yay, that's good.
Bye.
Bye-bye.